In the vibrant chaos of Lagos stood a small, unassuming bookstore named the Haven. It was a place where the outside world seemed to fade away, replaced by the comforting scent of aged paper and the soft rustle of pages being turned. The owner, Tunde, was a middle-aged man who found solace among the shelves filled with stories. He was known for his quiet demeanor, always ready with a thoughtful recommendation or a gentle smile. Yet, beneath his calm exterior lay a heart marked by loss. Tunde had loved deeply once, and the memories of that relationship often weighed heavily on him, making him hesitant to forge new connections, despite his yearning for companionship. One rainy afternoon, as the heavens opened and soaked the streets, a young woman named Amara stepped into the Haven. The rain dripped from her umbrella as she entered, instantly enveloped in the shop's warm embrace. She was a budding writer, struggling to make her mark in a world that often dismissed her talent. Amara had spent countless nights pouring her heart into stories, only to face rejection from publishers. This day, however, felt different. She was drawn to the bookstore as if it were calling her. As she wandered through the aisles, her fingers grazed the spines of novels, feeling a spark of inspiration ignite within her. She paused at a collection of poetry, her heart racing with the possibility of finding a voice that resonated with her own. It was in this moment of quiet introspection that Tunde noticed her and approached, sensing the connection that would soon unfold between them. Their initial conversation flowed effortlessly, as if they had known each other for years. Tunde introduced her to the poetic works of Wole Soyinka, sharing his insights and interpretations with genuine passion. Amara listened intently, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm as she reciprocated with her thoughts on the poems. They quickly transitioned from discussing literature to exploring the deeper meanings of life and love. Each meeting was filled with laughter and philosophical debates, creating an invisible thread that began to bind their souls together. Tunde admired Amara's vibrant spirit, while she found comfort in his calm presence. They often debated the struggles of the human heart, unearthing their own vulnerabilities in the process. What began as a shared appreciation for books soon blossomed into a profound friendship, rich with intellectual stimulation and emotional resonance, setting the stage for something more meaningful. As the days turned into weeks, their connection intensified. Amara became a regular visitor, often bringing her unfinished manuscripts to share with Tunde. She would read her stories aloud, her voice trembling with both excitement and fear. Tunde provided thoughtful feedback, his words a mix of encouragement and constructive criticism. With each meeting, they peeled back the layers of their lives, revealing hidden fears and dreams. Tunde, however, remained guarded about his past, reluctant to expose the wounds that still lingered. Amara, perceptive and intuitive, sensed that Tunde was holding back, yet she respected his silence. Despite this, their friendship deepened, and the unspoken tension between them grew palpable. Every stolen glance and lingering touch sparked a desire that neither dared to acknowledge fully. They became each other's refuge, their hearts quietly dancing around the edges of something that felt much bigger than friendship. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in warm hues, Amara arrived at the Haven with urgency in her eyes. She had received an acceptance letter from a prestigious literary magazine, a milestone that many dream of achieving. But instead of celebrating, she felt an emptiness that weighed heavily on her heart. "I can't celebrate this without someone who truly understands," she confessed, her voice quivering with vulnerability. Tunde, sensing her distress, felt a rush of emotions but remained hesitant, unsure of how to bridge the growing divide between them. Instead of words, he suggested they visit a nearby cafe where they could talk freely, allowing the bustling city around them to fade into the background. As they walked side by side through the lively streets, Amara noticed Tunde's furrowed brow and the conflict churning within him, but she couldn't quite decipher the source of his turmoil. At the cafe, the atmosphere was charged with excitement, but a heaviness hung in the air between them. Amara shared her dreams, her hopes for the future, and the thrill of finally being recognized. Tunde listened, but his heart was heavy with unexpressed fears. It was in this moment of shared intimacy that Amara gathered the courage to confront Tunde about the emotional wall he had built. "What's holding you back?" she asked, her voice soft yet firm. Tunde hesitated, wrestling with the weight of his past, the memories that still haunted him. He finally opened up about the woman he once loved, revealing the pain of loss that had left him scarred and afraid to love again. Amara listened intently, her heart aching for him. "But isn't love worth the risk?" she pressed gently. Her words, filled with sincerity, lingered in the air, creating a fragile space where hope began to blossom. Just as Tunde felt the walls crumbling around his heart, the cafe door swung open violently, disrupting the moment. A frantic young man rushed in, scanning the room until his eyes locked onto Tunde. "Tunde, I need your help. It's about your old friend, she's in trouble," he gasped, breathless and wide-eyed. Tunde's heart sank at the mention of his past love. The man explained the details, his voice urgent and laced with panic. Tunde felt a surge of emotions, fear, anxiety, and an overwhelming sense of responsibility. Without a moment's hesitation, he sprang to his feet, his mind racing with worry and guilt. He barely registered Amara's voice calling after him, her concern evident. The weight of unsaid feelings hung in the air, and as he rushed out, she stood there, heart pounding, feeling the bitter sting of abandonment mixed with worry for the man she had come to care for deeply. The following days turned into a whirlwind for Tunde as he threw himself into helping his old friend. The situation was complex and emotionally charged, forcing him to confront not only the danger his friend faced but also the ghosts of his past. Each interaction was laced with memories, evoking a mixture of nostalgia and regret. Tunde struggled with the guilt of having moved on while still feeling tethered to the remnants of a love long gone. Meanwhile, Amara waited anxiously for his return, her heart heavy with uncertainty. She spent her days at the Haven, pouring her emotions into her writing, channeling her feelings of worry and longing into the stories she created. Each page she filled was a reflection of her inner turmoil, a blend of hope for Tunde's safety and despair at the distance that had suddenly grown between them. Finally, after a week filled with tension and unanswered questions, Tunde returned to the Haven. His appearance was disheveled, and weariness hung in the air around him like a shroud. Yet there was something different about him, a newfound clarity seemed to shine in his eyes, as if the tumultuous days had forced him to reassess his life. Amara was waiting, her heart racing as she spotted him. "I was so worried," she admitted, her voice trembling with both relief and fear. Tunde stepped closer, the space between them electric with unsaid words and emotions. "I've realized that I can't let the past dictate my future," he said, his tone steady but vulnerable. "I don't want to live in fear anymore." In that moment, the weight of unexpressed feelings hung heavy, and Amara felt hope blossom within her. Tunde's confession had opened the door to the possibility of love, igniting a spark that promised to change everything between them. As Tunde stood before her, the world outside faded into oblivion. Amara's heart raced as she realized this was the moment they had both been waiting for. Tunde continued, his voice barely above a whisper, "You've shown me that love is worth the risk. I want to explore this, us, if you'll have me." With those words, the barriers that had kept them apart crumbled away, leaving only the raw truth of their feelings. They embraced, their hearts finally in sync, warmth radiating between them as they breathed in each other's presence. The uncertainty that had loomed over them faded, replaced by a profound sense of connection. In that dimly lit bookstore, surrounded by the stories of countless lives, Tunde and Amara knew they were on the brink of something beautiful, a love story that would intertwine their paths in ways neither had anticipated, a narrative filled with hope, courage, and endless possibilities awaiting them in the vibrant city of Lagos.